So the Data Protection Commissioner, the GIZ County Director, our CEO of the Media Council, the County Commissioner Kisumu, representative of the distinguished governor of this great city, who is a personal friend of mine. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It is indeed my pleasure that we had here today to discuss this very, very important issue of data privacy, which is a subject of discussion globally today. As we gather here to mark the Data Privacy Day, we find ourselves at the intersection of a rapidly evolving digital landscape and an increasing reliance on technology in our day-to-day lives. In this age of unprecedented connectivity and information exchange, fostering a culture of data privacy is paramount, if not imperative. As we navigate the intricate web of data-driven advancements, upholding the principles that safeguard the personal information of our citizens becomes crucial. This year's commemoration centers on the theme, fostering a culture of data privacy. How do we institutionalize the culture of data privacy in our day-to-day undertakings in the face of technological advancements and emerging issues in the operational environment therein? In our current digital era, promoting such a culture is of utmost importance, and this requires the creation of environments within organizations and governments where prioritization of the safeguarding of personal information becomes central to everything that we do. Establishing a robust data privacy culture in the digital age is crucial to ensuring trust, transparency, and individual empowerment. I therefore wish to commend and thank the Office of the Data Protection Commissioner and the Data Commissioner herself for organizing this very important forum to enable us to celebrate Data Privacy Day and to reflect on the journey that Kenya has walked in ensuring the actualization of Article 31 of our 2010 constitutional dispensation on the right to privacy. As you are aware, data breaches can have serious implications, such as identity theft, financial loss, and reputational damage. Prioritization of data privacy allows organizations to secure the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of personal information. This not only aids in compliance with rules and regulations, but also fosters trust among consumers and stakeholders. Adopting strong data privacy safeguards is not only critical for protecting individuals' rights, but also ensuring a secure and ethical business environment in this regard. It therefore requires a multi-pronged approach that engages various stakeholders and addresses existing challenges. The Office of the Data Protection Commissioner has undertaken national awareness programs, and indeed we will continue to sensitize Kenyans from all facets of life on the integral necessity of ensuring that any data that comes into our possessions remains private and secure. We will do the same for data controllers, data processors, as well as data subjects themselves, the Kenyan public, on their obligations as well as the rights. In addition, the Office of the Data Protection Commissioner has rolled out data protection training in collaboration with the School of Government and other pre-qualified trainers. I want to urge all government institutions, bodies, ministries, parastatals, to ensure that as a first-line activity when they roll out their annual work plans, they also ensure that all those working in the public sector to be responsive of the need of ensuring data privacy and data security, undergo comprehensive training in this area. I call upon all organizations to enhance their compliance with data protection laws in line with the Data Protection Act 2019. Additionally, integrating data privacy and data literacy modules into school curriculum can equip future generations with knowledge and awareness from an early age. And we will work closely with the Ministry of Education in this regard to ensure that we embark on this sensitization agenda as early as possible within our school curriculum. The Office of the Data Commissioner holds a unique position in facilitating both government and private sector entities to achieve the strategic goals outlined in the government's bottom-up economic transformation agenda, and in particular, its digital superhighway. Just imagine the amount of data that comes into the hands of government in line with the digital superhighway agenda that we are rolling out. We have embarked on an ambitious program of rolling out 100,000 kilometers of fiber optic cable to those parts of the country that hitherto had not yet been connected. We are establishing and operationalizing a whopping 25,000 Wi-Fi hotspots all over the country. Within the rural areas, we are going to establish a digital hub in each and every ward, a total of 1,450 digital hubs where our youth will be trained on digital skills on one hand, but ultimately and most fundamentally with a view to getting digital jobs for our youth. We are, in the same vein, digitalizing government services. When we came into office last year, we only had a meager 350 services about the e-citizen platform. Today, we have got a whopping 12,461 government services which are virtually available on the e-citizen platform. And what we are saying, ladies and gentlemen, is that with that level of digital public infrastructure in place, we need to go the extra mile and facilitate a framework through which members of the public can be able to consume government services from the comfort of wherever they are. And this is why we are pursuing a digital identity, a virtual means through which government can confirm that you are whom you claim to be. But the question that comes to mind is this. In the face of this enormous digital transformational agenda, are we not exposing ourselves to cyber crime? And are we not exposing ourselves to infringement of data privacy and data security? And if so, should we continue with our digitalization agenda? And if you ask me, the answer is an equivocal yes. We are not going to stop digitalization because of the level of exposure. What we need to do is to ensure that as we digitalize our services and pursue all the necessary interventions in the marketplace to ensure that we realize our vision of a digitalized Kenyan economy, we have to build around our digital interventions a robust, elaborate risk mitigation framework that would ensure that we minimize exposure to cyber insecurity on one hand, but we also strengthen the policy, legal, and regulatory framework to give us a strong foundation on the basis of which data security and data privacy can be anchored. In expanding digital landscape, the importance of robust data protection mechanisms cannot be overstated. The Office of the Data Protection Commissioner, mandated to oversee, regulate, and ensure lawful data processing, plays a pivotal role in this transformative process. Kenya, while at the forefront of digital transformation, maintains stringent data protection standards. And the ODPC, therefore, stands as a key stakeholder and regulator, guiding the nation's journey on the digital superhighway, ensuring that technological advancements do not compromise the rights and privacy of individuals. We are not operating in a vacuum. The laws, policies, and regulations that we have in place cannot be static because they have to be responsive to dynamism in the operational environment. And in this regard, we are aware that depending on unfolding events from time to time, there may be need to review those existing policies, laws, and regulations. And that is why 3 months ago, as a ministry, we did constitute a sector working group, ICT sector working group, consisting of representatives of all the integral stakeholders in this sector, to discern the operational environment, be able to determine the emerging issues, changes in that operational environment that would necessitate a review of our existing policy, legal, and regulatory framework so that we are responsive to changes in the operational environment, and also we are able to benchmark with global best practices in that regard. That sector working group is still work in progress. They did give us a zero draft report. They are fine-tuning that report, and I want to encourage representatives of stakeholder segments who are here, who may not have gotten the opportunity to give their views to that sector working group, to please come forward, step forward, and interact with that sector working group. It is led by one of you, Professor Waema, so that we move together. It is not really a primary responsibility of the government working alone to review these laws, policies, and regulations. We need to work together, discern the operational environment, and see what we need to respond to. Look at technologies such as AI, Internet of Things. We are faced with the global challenge of cyber insecurity. We need to think together as a whole sector so that we decide in a proactive, deliberate, and proactive manner what we need to do to remain relevant in the marketplace from a risk mitigation perspective. To further this commitment, on December 2023, the Office of the Data Protection Commissioner developed and published 4 sector-specific guidance notes for digital credit providers, the processing of health data, and for the education and communication sectors. And additionally, the Office will continue to issue advisories and review data protection impact assessment reports from various government and non-government entities processing sensitive personal data to ensure full conformity to the attendant data protection laws and the attendant regulations. Within that sector working group, an integral component of their terms of reference is to recommend comprehensive reforms in the ICT sector with regard to what we need to do to strengthen personal data regulation. And have therefore given adequate guidance to the Office of the Data Commissioner to collaborate closely with the aforementioned team and ensure that all the necessary policy, legal, and institutional gaps that we currently have within the ambit of our Data Protection Act 2019 are sealed through this process by way of feasible recommendations. You also recall, ladies and gentlemen, that last year, at an event like this, which was presided over by His Excellency the President did direct as follows, that 1, the Ministry of Information, Communications, and the Digital Economy ensures the ratification of the African Union Convention on Cybersecurity and Data Protection. I'm glad to report that my ministry has prepared a cabinet paper to be tabled in cabinet to ensure that Kenya complies fully with its international obligations under this convention and any other conventions and treaties for that matter. The President further directed ministries, departments, and agencies to register with the Office of the Data Protection Commissioner as the first step in ensuring compliance with data protection laws. And towards this end, allow me again to report that out of the total of 3,739 data controllers and data processors so far registered with the Office of the Data Protection Commissioner, 150 of them are government ministries, departments, and agencies. But this number, although encouraging, still begs the question as to why others have not complied. And I therefore request all the remaining government entities who have not done so to comply with the Presidential Directive of 27th January 2023 to ensure full conformity to that policy directive. And in addition, the Office of the Data Protection Commissioner has and continues to conduct data protection sensitization sessions for various ministries, agencies, and members of the public. And I really want us, good people, to work together in this regard. It should not be left to us as a ministry alone. This should be a collective effort. We want to carry Kenyans along. As we digitalize, we need to sensitize the people of areas where we have got risks, exposure to risks, and what we need to do. Therefore, public sensitization on the need for privacy and protection of data cannot be gainsaid. In 2023, Kenya, through the Office of the Data Protection Commissioner, was elected as the first vice chair of the Network of Africa Data Protection Authorities during the annual general meeting held in Burkina Faso in May 2023. Furthermore, Kenya won the bid to host the 2024 NADPA AGM conference in Nairobi. In fact, for purposes of information, we have become a destination of choice as far as discussion of any emerging issues in the digital transformation agenda is concerned. In September, we will be hosting the International Association of Science Parks. Very soon, over Easter, we will be hosting the Transform Africa Summit. Next year, we are putting a bid, and we are likely to be hosting the World Mobile Congress. This gives a lot of opportunity to us, innovators, startups, those in the creative industry, to showcase the potential that this country has. It gives a lot of opportunity to youth to espouse their skills, competencies, and capabilities in line with our digital transformation agenda, and also opportunities which exist in the digital space. So I really want to plead with all stakeholders to work with us so that we position Kenya effectively, not just as the ICT hub of Africa, but as a global investment destination of choice by way of comparative advantage. In 2023, the Office of the Data Protection Commissioner launched regional offices in Mombasa and Nakuru, and this marked a significant step towards the expansion of data protection services across the country, with a presence in Eldoret, Kisumu, Garissa, and Nyeri regions. I'm pleased to announce once more that this morning I have launched the third regional office in Kisumu, which is a testament to the government's commitments to decentralize and strengthen the data protection institutional framework to handle data security and privacy concerns more efficiently. And I want to assure my sister that as we do this, we will work hand in hand with all integral stakeholders, the county governments inclusive. As a national government, there is nothing that we are going to do in any part of this country that will not be taking place in a given county. And that is why stakeholder alliances and partnerships between the national government and the county governments is imperative in line with our 2010 constitutional dispensation. With the opening of the regional office this morning, it is my hope that the services offered by the Office of the Data Protection Commissioner will be more accessible to more Kenyans. And in the spirit of embracing technological solutions, I'm again glad to officiate the launch of the ODPC chatbot, a mechanism through which members of the public can channel their inquiries to the Office of the Data Protection Commissioner and get instant responses through virtual platforms. And I want again to thank the GIZ through the county director who is present here for being our partners in that regard. In conclusion, let us use this Data Privacy Day as a catalyst for change, a day to reaffirm our commitment to fostering a culture of data privacy that resonates across our society. As we embrace the opportunities presented by the digital age, let us do so with a steadfast determination to protect the rights and privacy of our citizens. The lessons that we learn, ladies and gentlemen, based on our operations and the interventions that we have introduced in this space, is that public-private partnership is imperative in all that we are going to do. Anything that we want to do as government, if our role can be confined to the formulation of an enabling policy, legal and regulatory framework, and we let the private sector do their thing, but we realize our objectives, so be it. And in that regard, we look forward to working with the private sector. We look forward to a sustainable partnership between the government and all integral stakeholders in the digital space. Therefore, let us work harmoniously with the fundamental aim and objective of ensuring that any data that comes into our possession as private sector or as government remains private and secure in conformity to the dictates of our Constitution, in conformity to the dictates of our 2019 Data Protection Act, and in conformity to all the attendant laws, regulations, and operational guidelines. Thank you very much, and may God bless you.
Bwana Waziri, just before you leave the podium, we now want to interact with this chatbot. You may kindly sit. Only Bwana Waziri, eyes on the screen, please. Eyes on the screen.